And we're back with some good old Battlefield 3 gameplay, and in this video I'm gonna go over what I think are the best weapons in Battlefield 3. And let's start by taking a look at what I think are the two best assault rifles in the game right now. So first off, of course, we have the M16A3, probably the most used rifle in Battlefield 3 and a rifle with the most controversy around it. The M63 at some point, did I just say M63? The M16 at some point in the game was the absolute best weapon to use because it virtually almost had no recoil. Along with that, it has a fire rate of 800 rounds per minute. Which is perfect, pretty much. It fits almost all situations. You can kill enemies up close very fast, and if you have decent aim, you can easily take out people from longer ranges when you carefully burst fire this weapon. Now, since the latest patch, the gun isn't as accurate anymore. It's not as OP anymore, as some people like to call it. But it's still pretty damn accurate. It pulls up a little bit more to the right, but it's very easy to counter when you're firing. And it's very easy to get used to countering the recoil on this weapon. The magazine holds 30 rounds and the reload time clocks in at 1.8 seconds with bullets still in the chamber, and 2.37 seconds when the gun is completely dry. And the reload speeds are extremely fast. It will save your ass a lot on the battlefield. I just love a gun that reloads fast because you don't always have to think about taking cover each time you reload. And now let's talk about some of my favorite attachments that I like to use. So when I pick my scope, I usually go for the Cobra sight, which again most people pick. It's just such an obvious choice. It takes very little away from your screen when you compare it to something like the American Red Dot. And the Cobra sight will literally save your life sometimes, because I've ran into multiple situations where I was using the Red Dot sight, and the outer part of the scope was blocking an enemy. And he was able to shoot at me, and I didn't know where he was shooting from. I couldn't see him because that little part from the scope was blocking him. And yeah, I got killed a couple of times like that. So I usually do run with the Cobra sight. However, I do prefer the actual Red Dot from the Red Dot sight over the 3 lines from the Cobra sight. And a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I don't know. I don't really have any particular reason why I prefer it. I just do. It just feels better, particularly when I'm engaging people at those longer distances. Now let's move on to the barrel attachments. Now a while back, I would have said just go for the heavy barrel. It gave you a lot more bullet velocity, meaning that your bullets would travel at higher speeds, so it would hit your targets faster, and it even gave you a small fire rate increase on some weapons, including the M16A3. But since the latest patch, or the one before, I'm not really sure, the heavy barrel has been nerfed, and it doesn't really affect the bullets like it used to before, so it doesn't really affect the bullet velocity that much anymore. It's still a very good attachment, and it will give you a slight advantage when using it, but definitely not like it used to. And if you pick the heavy barrel attachment, be sure to also equip the foregrip along with it, because when you pair those two attachments, it will statistically always improve your weapon accuracy. Now, if you're like me and you enjoy a stealthy approach once in a while, you'll want to equip a suppressor, and I personally love to equip that thing on my weapons. Just be careful, because it will significantly reduce your bullet velocity, and your weapon will do less damage over distance. So don't run with the suppressor when you know you're going to be taking out targets at those longer ranges, because you will have a big disadvantage using your suppressor. I personally prefer using my suppressor when I'm attacking, so I can carefully flank the enemy without showing up on the minimap. And although some people might call you a tryhard or even a noob for using the M16A3, the truth is this is one of the best weapons in Battlefield 3, and it's very well balanced compared to some of the other weapons in the assault class. But let's move on, and let's take a look at the next best assault rifle in Battlefield 3. Now this was a difficult one. I hesitated a very long time before I made my choice. It was either going to be the AK or the M416. And let's go over some of the reasons why I hesitated so much, and let's go over some of the strengths and weaknesses of these two guns. Now, the first thing I always like to pay attention to when I'm picking my rifle is the fire rate. And the M416 is a fire rate of 750 rounds per minute, which suits most situations. I have trouble talking. Don't know why. Probably because it's early and I didn't sleep very long last night. Let's not talk about that. So, fire rate. Important. Okay, so the fire rate of the M416, 750 rounds per minute. Again, suits most situations. God. Okay. Just like the M16A3, especially because of how accurate the gun is, and it's very, very fucking accurate. You can very easily pick off people at those extremely long ranges, very fast. Seriously, very fast, especially with the 750 rounds per minute that it spits out. It's very stable, but however, at close range, your fire rate might get you into trouble, with most people either running, again, the M16A3 or the AK. You will lose a lot of your battles with this weapon up close, unless you have impeccable aim and instantly go for the headshot, but let's assume you don't. And that's where the AEK comes in. Now, the AEK has a fire rate of 900 rounds per minute, and it has a very good hip-fire spread, even without a laser sight attached to it. And this makes the AK one of the most lethal, if not the most lethal, assault rifle in close-quarter situations, with maybe the exception of the G3A3. The AK is also very accurate at mid-range with almost no recoil. It does have recoil, but it's very easy to counter. It pulls up a little bit more to the left, so the recoil pattern itself is very similar to the one of the M16A3. Now, the only thing that the AK is not very good at is being effective at those long ranges. The fire rate is just too high on this weapon, and you'll miss a lot of your shots. And taking out one person at long range will often require you to dump almost a full mag. And again, with a fire rate that high, you'll find yourself out of ammo a lot sooner than you might think. However, once you do get used to the weapon, you'll learn to make your shots land. So you really have to make your shots count with this weapon, especially at those longer ranges. But you do have one big disadvantage when you're rolling with the AK, and that's your reload speed. The reload speed clocks in at 2.55 seconds with a bullet still in the chamber, and a very long 3.68 seconds when your gun is dry. So that's more than a second longer when you don't have a bullet left in the chamber. And those are some very long reload times compared to the reload times of the M416 and the M16A3. The reload time of the M416 clocks in at an extremely fast 1.75 seconds and 2.55 seconds when the gun is dry. So very, very fast reload speed. I love that about that weapon. And as you can see, both weapons have their advantages and disadvantages, and it's all up to you guys which one you prefer. Now, me personally, I prefer the AK a little bit better. I'm just used to handling its recoil at those long ranges, and I don't have any issues dealing with the long reload times. It's just a matter of timing, really. Just take cover or get out of hot areas when reloading your weapon, and make sure to not automatically reload after every kill, especially the last part. That's very important, because you never know when their squad mate might show up to take their revenge when you kill one of their buddies. And it might take you some time to get used to it at first if you're not really familiar with the AK, but if you follow these guidelines, it will become second nature to you before you know it. The AK is just too powerful and efficient at those close to mid-range engagements, and the M416, it's just no match to that. As for the attachments, I usually run with the same attachments like on the M16A3. Nothing fancy. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video and got something out of it, and let me know in the comments, what's your best assault rifle setup, your go-to rifle? I'm looking forward to it. Just write them down, the comments, don't forget. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Of course, do not forget to rate and share the video if you liked it. It really does help out the channel, and I'll be forever grateful. Also, stick around and subscribe, because there's going to be more episodes of this rolling out for Battlefield 3, because it's the end, and I just want to share my favorite weapons with my subscribers. All 82 of you. Alright guys, I'm Dolce. and I'll see you in the next video.